Well, hello everyone. I'm glad to see that you're surviving all of this and glad to be with you again today. You know, I've been thinking, had a lot more time to think than usual, and that's a good thing, I think. And I've been looking at this phrase that Jesus said several times in the Gospels. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear. You know, it's found 3 times in Matthew, 3 times in Mark, and 2 times in Luke. Now, John never really uses that phrase, but you might remember where he said, "My sheep hear my voice." So he has a very similar reflection on that. So I'm wondering to myself, was Jesus speaking to groups of people who didn't have ears? Was he speaking to people who didn't have hearing? Was it selective hearing? I know my wife mentions that from time to time. Was it a different frequency that he was speaking? It makes it strange to me to think about it. But there's a familiar verse in John 14 that we've heard over and over again. But the following after that familiar verse may help explain that just a little bit. Let me read that familiar verse to you. This is John 14, beginning with verse 6. Jesus said to him, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. And from now on you know him and have seen him." And Philip said to him, "Lord, show us the Father, and it is enough for us." Now, Jesus has just explained to him that if they see Jesus, they're seeing the Father. So even though Philip heard these words, he didn't understand. He had not come to know it. And Jesus explains that to him as it goes on. Jesus said to him, "Have I been so long with you, and yet you have not come to know me, Philip? He who has seen me has seen the Father. How do you say, 'Show us the Father'? Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own initiative, but the Father abiding in me, he does his works." So what we're talking about really is Philip's ability not to so much to hear, but to understand what he was hearing. It's a very interesting phrase. That whole word, "come to know," in the Greek is asynthesis, and it means dull of acceptance. So the problem here was the fact that he was hearing, but he was not fully accepting. You know, we're living in a world that seems more and more to be full of cynics, people who are unwilling to accept what Jesus has said, accept what the Bible says. And I think that's why it's so important for us to listen to the words of Jesus and to fully accept the many miracles that he performed in front of thousands of people. Now, those of you who have children at home, you can take some time to check their hearing by reading to them from the Gospels and talking with them about the many miracles that he performed. And if you don't have children at home, check with your neighbors. They may have healthy children they're willing to loan to you. I'm just kidding. I wanted to see if you were hearing. As his sheep, let's spend some time listening to his voice. I hope to see and hear from all of you soon. God bless.